The judge has spoken. The gavel has metaphorically, or literally, come down. And in that instant, something inside you sinks. You lost. Not just the case. You lost hope. You lost expectations. You lost money. You lost emotional energy you'll never recover. And then, as if the loss itself isn't enough, another question rises quietly but sharply in your mind. Do I still have to pay my lawyer? It feels unfair. It feels insulting. It feels like paying for failure. After all, in most areas of life, we pay for results. If a builder doesn't finish your house, you don't pay. If a mechanic doesn't fix your car, you don't pay. If a doctor fails to cure you, you feel cheated. So why should the law be different? Today, let's talk about it honestly, slowly, and without pretending the system is perfect. Our first emotional reaction is, why should I pay for losing? When people lose cases, they rarely feel calm. They feel betrayed, angry, embarrassed, financially wounded, and sometimes foolish for trusting the process. The lawyer becomes an easy target. He didn't fight hard enough. She should have seen this coming. They promised me I would win. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. Losing a case does not automatically mean your lawyer failed. It means the court decided against you. And courts don't decide based on effort. They decide based on evidence, law, procedure, credibility, timing, and sometimes a precedent that has nothing to do with your personal story. Justice is not emotional. It is procedural. So, what do you actually pay a lawyer for? This is the part most people misunderstand. You do not pay a lawyer to win. You pay a lawyer to analyze your case, advise you on the law, draft documents, appear in court, argue your position, protect your rights, follow legal procedure, and represent you competently. In simple terms, you pay for professional service, not guaranteed outcomes. A lawyer is closer to a pilot, not a magician. A pilot can fly the plane correctly, but cannot control the weather. Let's analyze the lawyer's duty versus the lawyer's power. A lawyer's duty is to act in your best interests. Use reasonable skill and care. Be honest with you. Follow professional ethics. But a lawyer's power is limited. They cannot invent evidence, control the judge, change the law, undo your past actions, or guarantee how witnesses will testify. If your case is weak, late, poorly documented, or legally flawed, even the best lawyer in the country cannot save it. And this is painful to accept, but necessary. There is a contract you forgot you signed. Almost every lawyer-client relationship is governed by an agreement, written or implied. That agreement usually says, you will pay fees. The lawyer will provide legal services. Outcomes are not guaranteed. Unless your agreement specifically says it payment only if we win, then legally and ethically, you still owe the fees. Contingency arrangements, where lawyers are paid only if they win, are rare, limited, and usually apply to specific types of cases. Most cases are fee-for-service. You hired time. You hired skill. You hired representation. You didn't hire certainty. But what if the lawyer was bad? Now, let's be fair. Not all lawyers are good. Not all losses are unavoidable. You may have a valid reason not to pay if the lawyer abandoned your case, missed critical deadlines, failed to attend court without explanation, acted dishonestly, gave grossly negligent advice, or breached professional ethics. In such cases, the issue is not the loss, it's professional misconduct. That's different. You don't stop paying because you lost. You stop paying because the service itself was defective. And that distinction matters. Let's understand the psychology of blame after loss. Human beings need someone to blame. When we lose, we look outward before we look inward. But ask yourself honestly, did I give my lawyer all documents on time? Did I tell the full truth? Did I follow advice? Did I act in ways that weakened my own case? Many cases are lost before they ever reach court by decisions made years earlier. The courtroom is often just where reality finally catches up. Why do lawyers still deserve payment even in loss? This part is uncomfortable but important. Lawyers spend hours reading your file. Research the law. Prepare documents. Attend hearings. Face professional risk. Put their reputation on the line. They don't get those hours back because the court ruled against you. If we only paid professionals when outcomes were favorable, doctors would refuse risky patients. Engineers would avoid complex projects. Lawyers would only take easy wins. Justice would become inaccessible to ordinary people. Ironically, your right to legal representation exists because outcomes are uncertain. How you can tell the difference between a lost case and a scam? A scam looks like this: false promises. Guaranteed wins. No explanation of risks. Disappearing when things go wrong. Enticement to pay a bribe to the judge. A legitimate legal service looks like this: honest warnings. Clear risks. Transparent billing. Continued representation even in loss. If your lawyer warned you that the case was difficult and you proceeded anyway, then the loss was part of the risk you accepted. So, what happens if you refuse to pay? This is rarely discussed, but very real. If you refuse to pay, the lawyer may sue you for fees. The lawyer may retain your file. Your credit or reputation may be affected. Future lawyers may hesitate to represent you. Legal disputes between clients and lawyers are rarely clean and often more painful than the original case. Sometimes, paying and moving on is the cheapest emotional option. How you can handle payment after a loss the wise way. Here's the balanced approach. 1. Request a clear fee breakdown. 2. Discuss the outcome calmly. 3. Ask whether a payment plan is possible. 4. Separate emotional pain from contractual duty. 5. Only withhold payment if there is genuine misconduct. Justice is not revenge. And professionalism doesn't disappear just because hope did. The hardest truth of all is the part no one likes to hear: sometimes you lose, not because your lawyer was bad, but because the odds were never in your favor. Courts don't exist to heal emotional wounds. They exist to apply rules. And rules are cold. We both agree that you pay for the fight, not the trophy. So, should you still pay your lawyer even after losing your case? In most situations, yes. Not because the loss feels fair. Not because justice always works. But because you paid for representation, not victory. You paid for someone to stand with you in a system that does not care about feelings. And sometimes, that alone is what the money was for. The real tragedy is not paying a lawyer after losing. The real tragedy is believing the law exists to guarantee happiness. It doesn't. It exists to decide disputes. And sometimes, it decides against us.